worshipping in another language, or as Paul says, singing with the Spirit in a corporate setting can be very powerful when it's done with faith, and when people are, as the psalm says, our brothers are united in unity. And I have had many experiences where after there's been corporate worshipping in another language, that the sense of God's presence, the sense of anticipation, of listening for God to speak to our hearts, has been very powerful and very intense. But I have a very strong conviction as well that singing with the Spirit should be something that is done without musical instruments, and they, if anything, they just hold us down from actually rising in faith into the presence of God. And I'm just going to share a bit of a theory I have, which is that given just how earthbound we are and how much our minds and our affections and desires and wills are so bound with earthly things every day, that as we come to worship God with psalms or hymns, for instance, music is a tremendous asset to that. It can lift our mood. It can, if it's appropriate for the words we're singing, it can really lift our minds and our affections and our wills up and give us, if you want, that boost, like when rockets are going into orbit, give us that boost up if the music is appropriate. And as long as the music doesn't draw attention to the music, but helps our voices actually to rise with the words and, as it were, enliven our minds. So the music is an aid to our voices and to our hearts and minds. But as it were, we get sort of up into space, that we get launched, it becomes more and more important that it's not the music that's carrying the voices, but the voices that are carrying the music, if you want. And that the music should be much less dominant, much less aware of it, as our spirits now are rising, our minds and hearts are rising to God. And when it comes to then worshipping in tongues, that's when we're really stepping out, as it were. And at that point, the rules and order that goes into instruments and that kind of thing need to be set aside so that our spirit can rise and we're not held down, as it were, by things that tend to be related more to the flesh. And again, it's a wee bit like another image. It's like putting up a sail. This is what I imagine, like putting up a sail in a worship meeting and then waiting for the wind of the Holy Spirit to come and to take that boat in whatever direction he wants it to go in, which we can't anticipate. When we're singing a hymn or psalm, we know when it's going to end, but when it's worshipping with the Spirit, we don't. And again, so often, in either individually or corporately, when people are worshipping with their spirit, the sail goes up and then it comes down again very quickly. You can almost anticipate this is going to last X seconds or 1 minute or 2 minutes, because that's what happens. It's sort of ritualized, as opposed to continuing to sing with our spirit until we know the Spirit has just taken us up and directed us where he has wanted us to go. And so for that reason, I'm really convinced that it's a backward step when the instruments continue to play during singing with the Spirit, and actually holds us down rather than lifts us up, which is what they were doing when we started to praise. And so today, if you worship God in tongues, then you may want to join in with me, or maybe you want to continue on whenever I stop. Or if you never have before, perhaps today might be the first time for you that the Holy Spirit gives you that wonderful gift of singing in tongues or speaking in tongues. Naranda Nuruna Vinororo Baranda Nara Nurunu Yedalala Inara Barando Nurana Yenara Nuru Indananara marunduru hundanara no yenura handanara. Indoro no rarabastina randanaro. Omarandana yeno randolorano. Inarandano rando. Alaramando nuru yena. Inerando nuru baranda nuru yenarando. Inoro burundana yendo no moloro naru. Yenoro nando. Inarunaronda malarono yerandona inarunarana inarunarunduna maruno yenando